Welcome to the March Economic Development Alliance Investor Member Meeting. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the chair of the board. Fantastic organization. We have an amazing morning meeting for you today. And I just want to say that last month, we had over 100 people here, which was phenomenal. So the word's out. This is the greatest place to be on a Tuesday morning. So tell your friends, come back. We are looking obviously for more investor members always, and sponsor memberships. So thanks for being here. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Sarah Tober, the Executive Director of the Alliance.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to pass this around. If you've already signed up before, feel free to just pass it to the next neighbor, and please get it over the aisle. So, Jeff. Okay, we'll start out with our government updates today with John Waters. Come on down.
You know, growing you can pass the name W. It's always at the end of the word, so it's nice to be at the beginning. Well, my name is John Waters. I'm the town manager for Bayfield. And just real quickly, what we have open and what we're doing in Bayfield. First of all, you know, we are pretty sad with the untimely passing of our attorney, Michael Goldman. Many of you in here know Michael, and he's been a long-time attorney for our community. We're now faced with the fun of having to replace some very large shoes. So we've got an RFP out right now for attorney services, looking for an attorney firm that has experience with you know, municipal law, that sort of thing. So we've got that advertised, due on at the end of the month. We also are looking for engineering services for a lot of projects we've got going on with streets and drainage. So that's another thing that we're moving forward with. Many of you know we've got the second intersection. We're getting ready to start that project. We've sent our plans in to the CDOT folks. They're reviewing those. We have a lot of properties that are around that intersection that are open for commercial development. I know we've had Maverick and several other entities come in and ask us about that. We'd love to have local or regional companies to come over and you know, take a look at that. We always want to have businesses that are in this area. We feel that they have longer staying power if they're local businesses. So we're certainly interested in that. And the town doesn't have a dog in the hunt, but we can certainly put you in contact with the folks that do own the lots and are interested in selling it. Court housing, we got two big projects that are going on right now. Pine River Commons, many of you know Brad, and then Cinnamon Heights. Our infrastructure is complete on that. We're going to start vertical construction here very soon on those. That's another 30 units that are going up. These are going to be a little bit larger than most of them that are in the area here, but any of you that know Ian and Andrew know they build a good product, so we're really excited to get that going. And then we've got 4 new trustees that are starting. So a big group of new folks coming into our board of trustees, and really excited to move forward with that. That happens in late April. So,
Thank you, John.
Good morning. Okay, so in case you're all dying to come to a city council meeting, remember our second meeting of the month is today, not next Tuesday, because of spring break. They're back to back this month. So if you're wanting to come in and chat with us, be sure to come today at 5:30. Our 2026 bump out deadline is this Friday. Bump outs are going to get installed May 4th through 6th. So be on the lookout for that. We approved at our last city council meeting about $230,000 in events, tourism, and arts and culture grants for different local businesses and projects that are going up and around. We're piloting a partner co-op program through our tourism office. It is offering tourism industry partners destination marketing opportunities that range from sales, marketing, and PR. So the pilot program invites partners to apply for one of 3 spaces in the Visit Durango sales booth at the International Tourism Trade Show in April of 2026. So you have to meet some criteria. You can check out our Visit Durango page for more information on that. At our last city council meeting, we also approved 2 different major workforce housing initiatives. The Lightner Creek Commons, which will be 29 workforce housing homes, and then the North Main Housing Project, which is a state-owned campus at 38th Street and Main Avenue. We approved amendments to the Fair Share program at the last city council meeting as well, which is exciting. And then mark your calendars for if you have young kids. Our annual Easter egg scramble is going to be held on Saturday, April 4th at Santa Rita at 9:45 a.m. It's one of the biggest Easter egg hunts in the area, so come on and participate.
And Clark Gray.
Whoa! All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Today's already, I got a lot to say today, so I don't know where we're at for the 2 minutes you want to time me. Okay? A little bit of history. So if you didn't know, Sharon and I actually own our own business, and we joined the Alliance back in 2017. But in 2018, my wife was elected to the town board in Ignacio and became an Alliance board member and a representative. So you heard from her for 4 years. And we talked about things like rewriting our land use code and doing some different engagement with the people of Ignacio on what housing might look like. And then we got hit with COVID. And then in 2022, I was elected mayor and became the Alliance representative. And you started hearing from me about what was going on. As we went into Rock Creek and our gas line replacements and our sewer line replacements, I kind of wanted to walk you through that because that's 8 years that Sharon and I have been giving updates for Ignacio and trying to communicate what's going on in that little small town in the southwest corner over here. And so today I wanted to let you know, in a couple of weeks, the town of Ignacio will elect a new mayor. It will not be me. And so Sharon and I are going to go back to just being business owners, and we will not be doing the Ignacio update. So I thought, what better way than to maybe talk about some things that I've learned, especially from my father from 58 years ago. And Jessica, you don't have to follow me today.
So excited.
I know.
Appointment after you.
I know. So you have to put your mind back 58 years ago and think about what did you learn back then? And this is a picture that I wanted to share with you because what I learned is don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. I'm a 2-year-old and I wanted to help my father learn how to change oil. Now, put a little bit of context in here. I was a super clean freak little kid. My mom said I couldn't let clothes sit on the floor if they were folded. I was super clean. So for me to be in this condition, because I gave it up and said, I'm going to help my father and I want to learn how to do it. The second thing I learned from my father back then, start every day with a clean pair of underwear. The most important thing we can do. So, yes, that's me. If you're wondering, that's the 2900 block of West 3rd, kind of up behind what is now Griego's, back in there a couple of blocks. That's our first house in Durango, about 1968. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to serve and be a part of this organization in the way that we have. And this is a great organization. I look around and there's amazing people in here. You guys have accomplished amazing things. And so on behalf of the town of Ignacio as mayor, I want to say thank you for what you do for our community and who you are and what this organization is. We're in great hands. We've got an excellent leader. We've been a part of this for 8 years. We've seen 2 EDs and 1 interim. And so I just want to say we are in great shape. It's very strong. And with that, I'll yield.
Clark has been an incredible part of our community and the board. He has helped lead the Regional Housing Alliance in Plata County. He's on the board for Music in the Mountains. He's on so many boards I couldn't listen to all and try. But he has been a community member that we all rely on for leadership, for guidance, and to help bridge all of us. And we're so grateful for his for everything he's done and Sharon's done for the Alliance and for our community. Okay, I'm not getting emotional. Okay, for our last government updates, we actually, Amy and Lisa are yielding the floor to Wyatt today. So just
quiet time and public comment. Just one quick thing from me. Requests for congressionally directed spending are open in our office, Senator Bennett's office, and Senator Hickenlooper's office right now through March 27th, 5 p.m. that Friday. What is congressionally directed spending? That's funding that's appropriated through the Senate Appropriations Committee to your nonprofit or your government. And usually these amounts are between $500,000 to $2 million that are usually awarded. Last year, we got a bunch of money for Southwest Colorado, and I'm hoping that we're going to continue to keep getting big wins for the area down here in La Plata County. So let me know if you haven't received an email from me or Lisa about resources, about frequently asked questions. If you have any questions, please let me know. We can schedule a time to meet. Those eligible, like I said, are governments, nonprofits, unfortunately not private businesses. And what the committee is looking for in terms of projects, for your understanding, are ones that are shovel-ready, clear and reasonably budgeted, self-sustaining, and beneficial for wider communities. So please be in touch. We'd love to bring some more money back to La Plata County. Thank you all.
Again, we talked about this last month, but the Alliance is getting a congressional direct spending from last year for an early child care center in Bayfield to the tune of $2 million. We're very excited to convey those dollars to the community to build an essential service that we need to help growing our industry and business. We had a great conversation with the Town of Bayfield here a few weeks ago, as well as the school district and BEAT. That's the Bayfield Early Education Program, as well as the Early Childhood Council. So we feel like there's going to be a really clear pathway forward here in the next couple of months. So we'll keep you apprised of that. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yes. So I'm Sarah Tober. I'm the Executive Director of the La Plata Economic Development Alliance. We've got a few updates for the Alliance to go over. In our building business capacity, I always do our updates on the 3 pillars of our mission. And our first one is the investor member program. We are starting to send out invoices for our investor member program for the year. So if you receive an invoice and you're saying, I can't do it this year, or you know what, I'd like to bump it up, please just let me know. I'm here to communicate on that. But those investor membership is the backbone of our organization. So we target $120,000 in investor members every year, and we put 10x return for that investment for our membership into the community. So last year we put over $1 million into the community, and we plan to do it again this year. So that is the return on investment you get in investing in the Alliance. Our 2025 annual report is out there. Hopefully you got a chance to see it. It's beautifully designed by Louise Snodgrass. Thank you so much. And it also captures all of our metrics in terms of the investment we've made into each community within La Plata County, in addition to the county as a whole. So in Bayfield, in Ignacio, and in the city of Durango. So hopefully you're able to grab a copy today on the way out if you didn't catch one. The La Plata Opportunity Network, we've been talking about that. That's the moveToDurango.com. We are still building that site out, but we are starting to place jobs in there so that we have a local job board. And it's a very easy, simple form for any HR or leader to fill out on any job openings that you may have. We want to drive those local jobs to help with recruiting and retaining employees into La Plata County. This helps those businesses that have hired somebody, and then that person has a significant other or family member that's looking for a job. We would like to have this local job board be a resource for everyone there. And then Southwest Day at the Capitol was a huge success for the Alliance. We're so grateful to Jeff and his team for putting it together. So if you didn't get a chance to do it this year, I highly recommend it for next year. They put us in front of a lot of heavy hitters for the Colorado legislature. And we were able to really elevate the voice of the Southwest corner there. So a lot of great conversations were had and a lot of great team bonding too. And then the Air Park Economic Feasibility Study. If you didn't know that the Alliance was helping to lead that, hopefully you caught the Durango Herald article that came out over a week ago that helped detail that work. It's going to be a big lift, but we do have base work to build on. So if you have any questions about what we're doing there, let me know. Happy to talk you through it. We will be hopefully releasing that study by the beginning of summer. And then the summit, I told you we would announce who our keynote speakers are, and we are doing that. So this year is Fueling Our Economy is our theme, and it is leveraging our public wealth for shared prosperity. So we're going to be exploring that theme thoroughly. We will have Kate Watkins, our Colorado State demographer, talking about a lot of the data around Plata County in the southwest corner. There's a lot of interesting things to dive into as we look at our projections for the next 10, 20, 30 years, what our population is going to look like, income, all of those kinds of things. She does a great job of bringing data into the picture for all of us. Hyla Scanlon is an author and financial educator. She is a Gen Z economist who wrote the book In This Economy. Tommy Crosby actually helped give me that lead for her. And we're really excited to bring her in. She has a really fresh perspective on how the economy is working or not working for Gen Z, and what we can all do to help that next generation see the potential for themselves within our economy too. And then Theo Wilson is an author and CNN commentator. He's an actor. He's a slam poet. He's really incredible public speaker who talks about public wealth in a really astounding way. We actually caught him at House in Colorado a few years ago. And so we're excited to bring him down here into the southwest corner for our summit. So September 10th, and if you, we have not released tickets yet, but we are definitely shopping sponsors. So if you haven't heard from me yet, prepare yourself. Attainable housing, we will be opening Catalyst Fund Round 7 at the end of the month. So you'll get that notification when that happens. Project Run, that's our workforce development program. We have Fundamentals of Leadership and Management 2 strategy. This is the last time we're going to have that class this year. And so hopefully we're able to secure additional funding to keep this training series going every year is the plan. We've also, Libby's been working on an early child care educator's certificate, business and leadership certificate. So we're excited to be doing that this summer, right as this grant is starting to wrap up. There's a water operator's certification that FLC at Work, Phelps is here, is helping to lead on FLC side. That's one of our partners for Project Run, of course. And then Access Health System Healthcare Convenings in 2 pathways. We've been making progress on getting people into those healthcare pathways. If you know somebody who is looking to get into a healthcare pathway or are interested, please let us know. We have some wraparound services to help support that here in the southwest corner. What else do we have? And our last one is the ABC group. That's the Alliance, BID, Chamber, and then we have SBDC and Local First have come together, and we try to meet up quarterly, and so we have good communications flow. We're trying to make sure that we're not over serving the businesses singly, and instead trying to have more collaborative efforts there. And one of the things that we're trying out this year is having a joint offering once a quarter. So this one is going to be a super exciting IRS update for businesses. Come with all of your burning questions, and we'll have that webinar, and then that recording will live on the Chamber's website. So look for more exciting ones to come too this year. I think that wraps me up. Now it's time for Dan Corman to give us an update on the real estate market here in Plata County.
Not all at once. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that applause I asked for. It's wonderful to be here with you this morning. It's crazy that we're approaching the end of Q1 in 26. I wasn't able to be here because I was out of town last month. So we're going to go over 25 a little bit as a whole, and then look at where we're heading in 26. For those of you that don't know me, I do know a lot of people in this room. Dan Corman, owner broker of Alpenglow Properties. We are a full service real estate brokerage in town. We're 1 block that way at 9th and Main. We specialize in residential resale, commercial, and property management. So if I hit something that you have questions on or want a deeper dive on, please feel free to raise your hand. Oops, I got it. Thanks. Can we go with that?
Yeah.
Cool. Market summary year to date. So this is all single family home statistics. Okay, we're only looking at single family homes. We can break it out into townhomes, condos, land, all those things. But I like to draw a picture with single family homes because it's one of the more pertinent aspects of our market and it helps drive the conversation. For the Plata County as a whole, including Ignacio, Bayfield, Durango, new listings were up over 6%. Sold listings were relatively flat. We had an increase in the median sales price, relatively increased 4.7, almost 5%, but the average sales price was the standout at over 10% increase, reaching $1 million for an average home in La Plata County. Now, that usually La Plata County ran below the Durango average because we had lots of inventory pre-pandemic and really through that first couple of years. But once the pandemic hit, all these $5 million large ranches got absorbed pretty quickly. We had 5 years of inventory in ranches over $1 million, and those got absorbed extremely fast post-pandemic. So what you're seeing is all of these larger parcels bringing up that average sales price. And because of our sample size being small, these numbers tell a story, but it's not the whole story. So take it with a grain of salt, but a 10% increase in the average sales price is a pretty significant increase. Now, the other thing to pay attention to is days on market, DOM. This is not days on market as you would think. It's actually days on market until closing. Average closing is 35 to 40 days. So you can take that away. So we're looking at 70 days on the market before close or before going under contract on average, which is a 12% increase. So longer days on market, slight increase in active listings, and an increase in the average for La Plata County. Let's talk about in town. In town is a crazy statistical market because we are so small. Okay, so again, take it with a grain of salt. However, there are a couple standouts. We saw almost 10% increase in sold listings. That's great. We did see a nominal increase in new listings. We'll talk about actives later. I want to really focus on actives and some of these other stats after Q1 so we can draw a better 3-month look at it. However, median sales price down over 8%. So what we saw is in 2020, we saw this huge on-ramp in pricing. It just got straight up. And now what we're seeing is a ebb to that curve. It's a healthy ebb, okay? You know, things can't go up and up like that forever and be a healthy market, right? You can't sustain a market that way. So I like the fact that our median is coming down. It's saying that smaller homes are hitting the market. It's saying that people are not doing no appraisal, no inspection offers, which is fantastic. Very uncomfortable thing to be involved in. However, we also see an increase in the days on market. So what's happened, people hit the market saying, I'm going to list my house for $1 billion. And the market says, wait, I don't think so. And so you're seeing a little bit longer because we were still pricing last year. We were still pricing homes as if that on-ramp was happening. And people started reducing their prices on more, I would say there's more price reductions in the last year than in the last previous 3 years. Because they're realizing that not everybody's just going to come out from Texas and pay top dollar without seeing the house. So that's all healthy stuff, okay? Increase in days on market, decrease in median sales with a fairly nominal increase in the average sales price. But notice right here, the average meets La Plata County. So that graph is crossing and meeting each other rather than La Plata County being below because typically county homes were cheaper. Now we're kind of, because of, and it is not necessarily because like in town Bayfield's all $1 million, it's because these larger ranches are selling, increasing that average sales price. So active listings. This is a snapshot in time, okay? This is not something you can take as an aggregate over a full year. So I took out February 2026, just the month year over year for single family homes. And I know it's super small, so I apologize, but here's last year. Okay, so we had 146 homes on the market in La Plata County. 146 houses, that's it, in the entire county. And we increased that by WCDBCA. I swear to God, I sent her 3 versions.
That'd be a
Wrong
version 2.
I looked at the version on and it had been.
That's so weird.
Luckily, I didn't because I sent it so many times. 7. So anyway, we, as of the end of February, there are 186 homes, which is almost a 30% increase in inventory year over year for February. That's great. And February is a strange month. It's the lull, right? It's that trough of the market. Then you look at in-town Durango. Last year we had 15. Okay. Now we have 23, a 53% increase. This number is huge. This one's not so much. As of, I didn't look at this morning, but yesterday there was only 20. So list your house. This is telling a story that we kind of touched on at the end of last year, is that Plata County is beginning to be a balanced market. A balanced market is 6 months of inventory. If you have a 6 months of inventory, then you have what's called a balanced market. We have about 2.5 to 3.3, depending upon what the numbers are today. That is still a seller's market in the city limits. So keep that in mind when you're having conversations over coffee.
Okay, I got it.
Solds. So again, this is just a snapshot of February 2026 compared to last year. Last year, there were 26 homes sold in the county, and we saw a decrease in that amount. Now that 11.5% looks big. It's 3 houses, okay? Again, sample size is very small in our area, but look at this, a 75% decrease in the number of single-family homes sold February year over year, because we only sold 2 houses. And that's due to pricing. The interest rate is still hovering at that 6%, but those things with the normalization of that 6%, you're seeing more and more people come out of the board work. So, you know, there was only 8 last year. Oops, right here, 8 in February. But again, huge difference. So what does it all mean? So the in-town inventory has risen significantly, which is nice. We're seeing more people hit the market. Another thing to think about is that these smaller homes that people were holding on to because they had the golden handcuffs. Have you heard that term before? Where you're in this 3% interest rate and you don't want to go out and buy something at 7% because that doesn't math. We're seeing that supply begin to come on the market, which is another reason that median's being brought down. Closed sales remain sporadic month to month. Again, it's due to supply, it's due to our sample size, but you're seeing that overall statistic track. Median prices in some segments have softened while other average prices remain resilient. Again, that pretty large increase in the La Plata County average is substantial. However, in town's remaining pretty flat. And then the more inventory we get, the better for the market. Overall, people are still moving to Southwest Colorado. I'm getting calls. I know lots of brokers are busy and it's beautiful. And so it's because of you guys and the way that we run our economy and our town and the off-mountain work stuff we have. So if you guys have questions about your particular neighborhood, type of property or anything, we're always open. You can reach me via text at 970-382-1162 or Dan at alpenglowproperties.com. Any questions?
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. We didn't know that Dan was such a genius till we saw his formulas. Okay, and Richard Ballantine is going to speak for us about what's new with Durango Herald.
Good morning, all. Thank you very much, Sarah. No percentages from me, no graphs either. This is a very good opportunity for me to have a few minutes with you all, and I appreciate that. 3 topics, AI, what the Herald is doing in terms of involving some AI. Then a bit of a shift in our print publication schedule, and then the fact that we'll be moving toward the postal service for delivery. But Shane Benjamin stood up a minute ago, managing editor. Shane knows the AI, but first of all, when First Amendment issues come to us, we go to Shane. Shane is very skilled in this area, and 2 weeks ago, Evan, when you let us know that you pushed back against prosecutor's office, saying no, that they couldn't rummage through the records, the reading records, the purchase records, Maria's. Shane knew immediately that the city hadn't, law enforcement hadn't made a sufficiently narrow case to put that into play. So, but thank you. Here's Shane Benjamin on AI, please.
Well, thanks for having us. Yeah, just a few things we're kind of experimenting with in the AI realm here. One is our AI chatbot. You guys may have seen that in the room corner. Earl the Helper. We wanted something that would help with reader engagement, improve efficiencies in the newsrooms, and provide insights about what readers are interested in and want to know. And we found he kind of fires on all three levels. He helps readers search for stories, answers circulation questions, gives us short summaries of news stories and stuff like that. He is a Sasquatch. He has a little personal history if you want to, engage with him. Tell me about his history before joining the Herald. Some people are asking, him to tell jokes and the meaning of life, and so we've kind of trained him to do that. It's sort of a fun engagement tool, and again, we get feedback from him about what people need to know and are interested in knowing. We're also using True Anthem to help automate some of our social media posting. We post a lot during the day. It can be time consuming. This helps do that automatically. AI technology helps target which posts might perform best during certain parts of the day. And so we're finding that to be effective. It's reaching more audiences. It's a huge time saver for us. And what else about that one? We're hitting a bunch of platforms all at the same time. We're hitting Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, X, and soon we're going to expand that to Nextdoor and LinkedIn, maybe TikTok. And then, some of our social media growth here. And this is sort of the click-through. We started True Anthem right about here. You can see we're posting more often and getting that higher engagement. So that's good for us. And then Everlit is converting our stories, our text to audio. This is kind of just an added feature, I guess. If folks want to engage with us that way, they can be driving to work, cooking dinner, push play on a listening tab, and just hear all of the most recent published stories kind of right in a row. They don't have to engage with their computer, which we think is nice and kind of interested in hearing if people are using that. And it's great for people, with there's the listening tab, great for, people with maybe visual impairment or dyslexia. So that's it. Hey,
I have a question for you. What is your best platform? Are you seeing more production or more engagement on Instagram or Facebook? Or
right now it's Facebook for sure. Yeah, big time. But we're kind of new and posting more to the other platforms, growing them very quickly. So others.
Are there other metrics you're looking at? Like engagement doesn't necessarily mean positive.
Click-through rates, I think, are definitely good. And creating conversations in the community. And so we're seeing that too. The more avenues we give people to have community dialogue. And so that's part of this effort.
On the opinion page, we had more than 500 letters to the editor last calendar year. Ellen Stein, the page editor, is in the back of the room.
700.
We just love the letters that
700.
700. Anyway, we love the letters that you all are sending that comments on what we're up to or not up to, and then what everyone in the community is up to. Love the letter. Shane, thanks very much. Second, print publication schedule. As you all know, we're Wednesday, Friday, Sunday now. No change for Wednesday. Wednesday continues. But the Friday paper and the Sunday paper will be combined into a 3-day weekend paper that'll be distributed on Friday morning. So it'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday paper distributed Friday morning. Then comes, because we then have a gap, then comes a Monday a Monday print paper. So we go from Wednesday, Friday, Sunday to Wednesday, weekend, Monday print. And of course, these are available on e-edition. I try to talk up the e-edition. Those are the pages, are curated. Pages have been curated. You can look at those at 6 o'clock in the morning and call up the story, see a headline you like. It's a little bit of a challenge on a cell phone, but it's not. You still can do it. And that is a paper that we don't have to print and we don't have to distribute, which is increasingly expensive. So slight change in print publication schedule. Thirdly, home delivery is beginning the first of the month is going to be by the Postal Service. We think we can get better consistency. We've got some superb carriers, and they've been doing a great job for us. It's 3, 4 in the morning, 3 mornings a week. So there's been some turnover, and we think that we can provide more consistent, more predictable service, home delivery service, by using our postal service. And I guess that means what, mid-afternoon, depends on where you are, of course, mid-afternoon delivery for your. Again, at 6 a.m. on those 3 days, those papers will be available. Stop pretty easy. Any questions about that? Dave Epic, you're in the back. You usually. What did you just say to me this morning?
All I said is there may be controversy about that paper delivery changing to postal. I'm just glad to get a paper delivery, so however it comes.
That's what I want this morning. So you got AI from us, you got a slight change in production, and you got the postal service. Thank you very much,
Richard. Okay, and now we have Sarada Leavenworth with Access Health.
Thank you guys so much. I'm sure none of you can tell that picture's from about 12 years ago. So I won't talk about that. And I don't have a picture of me changing the oil in my dad's car that I'm looking forward to, so not cool. Way less fun. But I'm excited to be here with you all and just really provide you an update about what Access Health System is up to. I haven't had a chance to speak with you, some of you in a long time, so it's a great opportunity to share. And I will watch for the 2-minute warning because, as folks tease me, I can go on forever about health. So, and once again, I'm Sarada Leavenworth. I'm our Vice President of Population Health. And what that means is I get to be involved in pretty much everything we do. So it's a title that encompasses everything. So just to get started, what we do and what we're up to, we started out in 1960 as a behavioral health provider, mental health and substance use services. And that was who we were for a long time. And then in 2013, we became a community health center, a federally funded community health center, which means that we took on doing primary care initially, and then later on took on doing dental care, and most recently pharmacy services. And as a community health center, one of our responsibilities and commitments is to provide healthcare, whether someone has insurance and whether someone is able to pay for it or not. So really reducing those economic and insurance barriers to care. And we receive some federal dollars to help cover that gap and cover that cost. We are a nonprofit healthcare organization, primarily meaning that when we have revenue over expense, we put that revenue aside or we invest that back into what we do for the community. And one of the areas that I'm most proud of is our expansion in dental. Of course, I love everything we do, but dental, we added 2017, a little after I joined Access, and we started with one little chair in the Commons building. San Juan Public Health, as it was called back then, handed that chair over. They'd been doing oral health and handed that to us. And started with that one little chair in what we joke was a janitor's closet, not totally sure, but it was very small. And then expanded to 4 chairs at a clinic on Florida, and then most recently to 13 chairs at our clinic by the river, our Durango Integrated Healthcare Clinic. So just to see that as one example of our expansion into healthcare for adults with Medicaid, for example, in our community, we are the primary option for them. So really ensuring folks can get into that healthcare they need to be well and thrive in our community. So digging into local economy, I think everybody in the room cares about the local economy quite a bit. So I thought I'd comment a little bit on that. We recently, and 2 years ago feels recent, I don't know about for you guys, but I'm at that age. 2 years ago seems like yesterday. We purchased and then renovated the prior Vantif Mercury Payment Systems building. This is not a advertisement, but Nunn Construction totally nailed it. We purchased the building and it was essentially football fields of cubicles. I kid you not, 3 levels. And Nunn Construction worked with us to transform that into our integrated healthcare campus, where we can provide not only the services that we do, but also the Plata Public Health is located there, LabCorp is located there, and then a small cafe Amore, which I think primarily runs on my paycheck for lattes, but I try not to think about that too much. So bringing that resource into the community, really using that existing property, we brought in about $32 million for that purchase and renovation. A big portion of that we had set aside over about 12 years, knowing we needed to consolidate. And then a big portion of that as well, $5 million, was new market tax credits. So bringing that money into our community from outside. Other impacts on the local economy, sometimes we forget that healthcare brings a lot of jobs to our communities. A shout out to our hospitals, our private practices, ourselves. We have 160 employees at our Durango Integrated Healthcare location, and then another 40 plus at our acute treatment unit and withdrawal management by the hospital. So a lot of jobs that come with comprehensive benefits are year round. And of course, we love all of our service industry partners as well. And it's nice to collaborate and have those jobs that provide those year-round opportunities. And then, of course, as we're healthier, we can contribute more to the workforce in the community. So less sick days, more ability to engage. I think sometimes we don't think necessarily about the impact for ourselves if we don't engage in healthcare, and that makes a big impact in our ability to contribute. And by the way, these are not stock photos. I hate stock photos. So we had a number of local community members who were willing to bless us with their babies. So this is one of our local community members. She's older now, but yes. So additional ways that we're in the community, we serve about 18,000 patients a year, about 4,500 of those in Plata County. And that is across our full spectrum of services. So oral health is about 20%, primary care and psychiatry is another big portion, and then 40% is behavioral health. So that's a scope of services that sometimes we forget as a community. I think you do 50 years of behavioral health and then a much shorter time of primary care, dental, and pharmacy. So sometimes it's hard to remember. And then the only other thing that I haven't mentioned on this is we've noticed that as the healthcare infrastructure in Plata County strengthens, and that's not only us, right? That's the hospital doing a lot, and the surgical doing a lot, private practices, specialists. As that infrastructure improves, our local residents don't have to travel as much for their care, which again feeds back into our local economy, of course. Challenges and opportunities. There's no challenges in the healthcare environment, so that's fine. I can just skip that. It is a tough time for healthcare in so many ways in our country. I could go on and One of the big pieces right now is changes in public insurance in Medicaid. I have 1 minute, so I will definitely not talk about Medicaid. But a couple of shout outs, the affordable housing that our city council is talking about, Plata County is doing a lot around that too. Those pieces are supporting the healthcare workforce that we need. Our partnership with the Alliance and the SWEC supports the workforce that we need. So one big challenge in healthcare is workforce, getting folks available to provide that care. Of course, public insurance challenges, which I'm happy to talk about ad nauseum after this. And then chronic disease in our country and in our local community is on the rise. So there's a lot to do in terms of supporting the health of our region and our country. Opportunities for collaboration. I mentioned the Alliance and SWEC. And I'll say that many of you in this room, both local government and private employers, we partner on so many things. So we just appreciate that very much. Congressionally directed spending actually is putting in the second elevator at DIH. So if you want to come see a huge hole in the wall before an elevator is put in, that's what that will be. And Sam has the joy of trying to figure out how to do that without killing anybody. So that's happening right now, thanks to congressionally directed spending. And lastly, I'm about to get the stop notice, but I'm right before the stop notice. Sarah suggested a call to action, which I think is always great at the end of a presentation. So I was thinking about what's the call to action? There's so many actions we could do, of course, right? And the one I would suggest is connect people to healthcare. I think if you're anything like me, you may not like to go to the doctor. I personally have been in healthcare for many years now. I hate going to the doctor, right? I'd much rather send other people, but preventative care, taking care of what we need across the full spectrum of health, right? I've got my therapist, she totally rocks, primary care, dental. So connect folks to healthcare. That may be with us, that may be with somebody else. And upstream, right? Before things get intense, before things get chronic. And when you're working with somebody or talking with someone, or you have employees that don't have health insurance and don't have the funds to seek healthcare, send them our way. That's part of our mission, and we want to be there for our entire community. So that's our call to action. I am around afterwards if you have questions, or you just want to talk about population health for 5 hours. I will hang out. So thanks, everyone.
I want to give one shout out before we go to the next speaker, because sometimes she has to go up to the hill during the time. Dr. Liz Cartier is the new dean of the Cass School of Business. Grateful for our partnership and to get to work with you on this next chapter. Okay, and let's hear from Lynn Urban on Team Up.
Great, good morning. It's so nice to be here with everyone. So you may be wondering, what the heck is Team Up? That's why I'm here, to explain that. So Team Up is a local nonprofit that's been in our community for 55 years. We used to be known by the name United Way of Southwest Colorado. So we changed our name back in July of 2025. And so now I'm going to explain what the heck is this? What is Team Up? So what's the story? The story is we've always been an independent nonprofit. We were formerly a member in a worldwide network. We were known for raising funds and making grants here locally. But I've been there now for 13 years, and I've seen philanthropy change dramatically over that period of time. In addition, I have seen the knowledge that we have about how to make positive impact in the community grow quite a bit. And so as these shifts have happened, we have shifted our organization as well. But what we found is that the network didn't shift as much as we did. And the benefit of being a member of that network was no longer as great as it could be. And it was actually fairly expensive as well. So we made the decision about a year and a half ago to make this shift, but we couldn't announce it to our community until last summer. So we have made this shift to be more strategic and impactful, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. So what is this shift? It's really from collaborative fundraising, collaborative problem solving. You notice the word collaborative stays in there. We're still working together with our community. It's not all that different from how the Alliance operates. So the Alliance, helps do things that one business couldn't do alone for the community or one organization. But the Alliance focuses on business and the economy. We focus more on the human services realm, education, that kind of thing. And of course, there are places where we kind of overlap because really when you get down to it, it's all about people. So again, we take on the work that no one nonprofit could take on by themselves or be very effective. And importantly, we can better measure our impact because we're setting clear goals and we're measuring how we're doing on that. So we've been working on this for about 10 years, and it has really developed to a point where we're having some positive impact. So what's the same? Legally, we're the same organization. We have the same tax ID number. I get that question a lot more than I would expect. We have the same tax ID number. We just have a new name. We still work closely with dozens of nonprofits. We're still focused on helping people thrive. We still provide emergency financial assistance for families through the SEEK Coalition. We still manage a regional AmeriCorps program. And we still work with Plata County and the city of Durango to help fund local nonprofits. So we still do quite a variety of things, but we have really grown our collaborative work. So now you might be wondering, well, how do you decide what you're going to work on with those collaborations? I could talk for days on this, but basically we look at community need and also where we feel we could make an impact. So we work in 5 counties, and in 3 of those counties over the last few years, our steering committees have identified that they want to focus on youth mental health primarily. So I'm going to share a little sliver of the work that we're doing, particularly here in La Plata County, to give you an example of how this works. So in 2022, we started to focus on youth mental health during out of school time. So why out of school time? Partly because our schools are doing a lot to support our youth when they're there. But what's happening when they're not there? They could be on screens, they could be left alone, there could be all kinds of things. They could be in high quality activities. But during that out of school time is a huge opportunity. We know that out of school time programs can provide opportunities to make friends, build your social network, connect with trusted adults, which is a huge preventative factor for all kinds of bad things that can happen down the road. Help you build your confidence, help you learn something new. So we asked the community, like, what are the barriers to youth participating in these great high quality programs we have here? And 3 things came up. Number 1 was cost. So we dug into that one right away, and with 15 different youth serving organizations, we built a scholarship program. And I'm happy to say between 2023 and 2025, we have now provided over 1,000 scholarships for youth in La Plata County to attend free summer programming. And we're getting great results. Most youth reported that they learned something new, made friends, connected to trusted adults. Parents reported it reduced family stress. Kids said they were more excited about going back to school in the fall. And you'll notice, like in this picture, nobody's on a screen. Yeah. That makes a big difference. Those were all the things we were aiming for. So the second barrier that the community identified was transportation. So it can be hard for youth that maybe live outside of a town to get into town for summer programming. So we, in summer 2025, we did a pilot program. We had 2 bus routes that brought kids from out in the county primarily into Durango and then to their summer programs. We had 30 kids who took advantage of this, and we have parents report afterward that it was a lifesaver. So we are happy to say we're going to expand that this summer. We're hoping to have 4 bus routes. Kind of depends on if we get enough drivers. So if you want to drive just for fun this summer. The third barrier that was identified was actually the mental health of our youth. We've seen anxiety and depression rates increase quite a bit over the last several years. And we thought, okay, what is the best thing we can do as a group in the community to help support positive youth mental health? And so the group decided that they would give key adults the tools they needed to support youth mental health every day. So we've offered dozens of workshops for parents, caregivers, key adults who want to learn how to support youth in things like how to have challenging conversations, how to deal with cyberbullying, how to stay safe online, all different kinds of topics we've had. We're going to continue these and grow them. Whenever we have a workshop, it comes with free dinner, childcare, and we've offered several of them in Spanish as well. All right, so if you kind of like what you're hearing, and again, this is just a sliver of what we're working on, anybody can be part of the team at Team Up, and you can get involved in a variety of ways, but one that I want to highlight is summer. We have a lot of fun in the summer at Team Up. We have fun fundraising events. So we have a pickleball day that's coming up in June. We have our an event specifically designed to raise money for these scholarships, which will be in the Rochester Secret Garden on May 29th. We're looking for businesses to sponsor tables and table cabinets. We have a golf classic, and then we have the San Juan Brew Fest in August. So if you'd be interested in participating or sponsoring any of these events, we would love to have. And that's it. Thank you.
Few things I forgot to mention. One is that we have opened up our internship program. So we have an internship fund where we will match businesses up to $3,000 to have an internship. So we have some allocations towards a healthcare pathway specifically, and then general industry. So this is something that we did a few years ago, and Fort Lewis College at Work was doing it, and then we're kind of bringing it back in lieu of their not being able to do it anymore. So we want to keep that program going because we know internships transitioning to jobs here in the Plata County is really important for our economy. The other thing is that we do have proposals open for summit breakout sessions as well. Those will be open until the end of this month. So if you have an idea or a concept, please fill out the form or reach out to me or Louise. We'd love to hear from you. And during community announcements, we have Tim Scott and Jamie Church down from the Four Corners Farmington Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporation here. So I wanted to give them a couple of minutes in case they wanted to tell you anything. Should be. Hi.
I'm Jamie Church. I'm the CEO of the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. I was actually up here a couple weeks ago. I led a breakout at the Women's Summit or the Women's Conference at Fort Lewis College on regional collaboration for maximum impact. It's one of the reasons I'm here today. I'm all about regional collaboration. I'm also a graduate of the class of Durango High School, 1984, along with Kim Koto. And I think our class did pretty well for a class that they expected nothing from. We do have a lot going on in Farmington. One of the biggest things I want to share is we did have the opening of the new exceptional care hospital. There's been a lot of talk about that. It's located on Pinion Hills Boulevard. It is more than an emergency room. That's sort of been the rumor was it was just an emergency room. It is a 19-bed hospital, 10 rooms for ER, and then 9 inpatient rooms. So there's also been some misconception that it is only cash and private pay, but they do take Medicare and Medicaid. So we're still figuring out that whole relationship between San Juan Regional and exceptional care. But if you're interested in learning more, they are going to have their big ribbon cutting and business after hours on April 23rd. So healthcare in New Mexico has been a topic. Just recently in the last legislative session, there have been some huge improvements on medical malpractice, compacts, trying to get doctors to come back into New Mexico rather than leaving New Mexico. So I'll just touch on that. Thank you for having us here today. We love community and regional collaboration and hope to be back again sometime. So I'll introduce Tim Gibbs.
For the first public time, I get to introduce myself a little bit different. I'm actually Dr. Gibbs now. That's of last Tuesday. Four Corners Economic Development. First and foremost, if we work with you, 1 and 1 equals 3, or maybe 10, okay? Because we're one area, we're one workforce, we're one economic area. So really, really happy to be here. Very, very quickly, and we can talk afterwards. We too are starting a housing initiative. We did a housing study and found out that we should have started 10 years ago. Okay? But good news, we're now putting together a housing initiative as well for all levels, affordable housing to retirement housing as well. We're doing project development, site development. We're looking at an innovation technology park next to our airport, 120 acres, that we're moving forward on right now. We're also developing and looking a little farther down the road, heavy industry park as well. A lot of recruitment going on with our state, with our other partners. We're using lead generation as well to get in front of some companies. And of course, BRE, taking care of your existing businesses. So we have a ton going on. I know this is your meeting. We're going to invite Sarah to come down and speak to our board as well to keep strengthening these relationships because the region needs each other. We need you. You make us better. And I'm proud to be here today, and I look forward to the collaboration and the opportunity to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think that concludes us. Last month, I gave you a couple of minutes. This month, we took them away, so we're even, right? Yeah. So okay, April 14th is our next meeting, and we will have a couple of community college, Animas Surgical Hospital, and more. So join us next month for the conversation. Want to thank Clark Craig again, your service and your guidance. We're so grateful, and Sharon, and they always remind us to be humble and grateful leaders. Thank you for Desert Sun for fueling us today, and Please Snodgrass for keeping our meeting rolling seamlessly. So have a great day and week, and I'll see you next month.